Find out more at mybraveBotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Around the globe, farmers are fighting an uphill battle against Monsanto. Though some people are keenly aware of the many struggles modern farmers face, the plight will soon be highlighted in the upcoming film Percy. The movie is based on the true story of Percy Schmeiser and will feature actors Christopher Walken and Christina Ricci. The Mind Unleashed reports that Schmeiser, a canola farmer from Saskatchewan, Canada, was sued by the agriculture giant Monsanto over patent infringement in 1998. According to Deadline, Walken will play Percy, and Ricci will depict anti-GMO activist Rebecca Solkow. Spoiler alert, Monsanto successfully sued Schmeiser for patent violations after the company's GMO canola was found growing on his farm without a license. To this day, Schmeiser maintains that the seeds accidentally blew onto his property. In 2004, the case made its way to the Supreme Court of Canada, where judges ruled 5-4 in favor of Monsanto. According to a new study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, smoking the milky psychoactive secretion of the Colorado river toad could provide a fast-acting and extremely potent alternative for managing depression. The Mind Unleashed cites a IFL Science report, which says the North American toad excretes a whitish substance that contains a compound, which is a variation of DMT. The researchers conducted a series of psychiatric tests to examine the impact of smoking the secretion on 42 participants. The authors determined that the average depression ratings decreased by 18% within 1 day of inhaling the substance. Furthermore, anxiety was reduced by 39% and stress by 27%. 4 weeks after the initial trial, the team conducted a follow-up analysis. They found that depression ratings had declined 68% below baseline levels. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Hi, I'm Clint Webb, and I'm running for Senate. I have a short cropped haircut, a pretty enough yet accessible looking wife, and a newborn baby that I've dressed in a suit to prove to you that I mean business. For the last 15 years, I've lived my life in such a bland, uncontroversial, and repressed manner that it's almost unnatural. Why? Because I've been preparing to be your representative since I was a child. Most well-adjusted, sane men would be hesitant to take a job where their decisions would so drastically affect the lives of so many. But not me. I possess a sort of sociopathic narcissism that makes me think that I should be in charge of everyone. But all of that needs to start here at home, in this beautiful state that I've grown to love since I moved here 18 months ago. Together, we can piggyback some of our state's legitimate needs onto my unquenchable lust for self-glorification. And that's a promise.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live on the airwaves. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. I mean,
that's it.
Let's be serious. We wouldn't have called it that if that wasn't the case.
It's a good point.
Yeah, you're welcome to call in. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
It's live here this Saturday night, so from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. What is that, 1900 to 2200 there?
Very good, Mark.
Sarge. No, you made it to a specialist, is that right?
Well, yeah. Certain people go down a path for NCOs and certain people just do their job.
I see.
I was one of those that just did their job.
Just did their job. Gotcha. So, yeah, you can call in, talk about what you want. If it's between 7 and 10 Eastern Time, we're on the lines taking your calls 7 days a week. Today, I've got one. Chris, this story, the names change, the locations change, the nouns switch around.
Right.
But basically, this story comes up.
It does.
At least once a year.
Sadly, it does.
And to me, it's important to talk about when it comes up because it kind of lays out freedom in a way that you just don't see otherwise. Mm-hmm. And the headline here coming from, looks like abcnews.com, written by Heather Lee. Judge rules boy fighting leukemia will get chemotherapy despite the parents' disapproval. Now, I could just go through and read the litany of facts here, right? But you're going to find some religious or philosophical belief, right? And they're going to say that, they had this problem or that problem. In this case, the parents actually, their daughter had cancer also.
Right.
And apparently been treated, and they say it nearly killed her. Cancer also will nearly kill you. So, chemotherapy and cancer. Chemotherapy, I hope everybody understands, chemotherapy is a dangerous and difficult procedure to undergo.
Putting poison in you with the hope that it'll kill the right cells and not kill your good cells.
It's going to kill some good cells. There's no doubt, right?
Sure.
Now, I'm relatively big believer in modern medicine. I'm going to go ahead and say, if my son had cancer, leukemia, I'm going to go for the chemotherapy because I want him to survive and I want him to have the best chance. And I figure a young person is more likely than, somebody 48 like me and obviously much older to survive. But I believe you've got the right. I guess a better statement is, what right do strangers have to come into your family's life and determine what kind of medical treatment people in your family are going to seek?
Yes, and to me, decisions about a child those are the most intimate decisions. You know what I mean? These are the things that you're not going to agree with every parenting choice I made, and I'm not going to agree with everything you do, but I have to respect that those are your choices. It's your family. It's not my family.
And the freedom to make a decision ultimately means it's not your freedom. Remember, the freedom to make a decision means you have the freedom to pardon me, the freedom to make a bad decision.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have the freedom to make a bad decision, you don't have the freedom to make a decision. And remember, the bad decisions at one time, things that we would consider bad decisions today, were considered the norm. They were the good decisions of their time.
Sure. Let's just take this little boy and get his blood leached. I mean, that would be the response. That's perfect. Yes, let's leach the boy until he's anemic. Maybe that will cure the humors that are in him.
Right. You're pointing out, what do they call that? Argumentum ad absurdum, right?
Sure.
You're making an absurd argument, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
All medical procedures have risk.
Yes.
And chemotherapy probably has more risk than most medical procedures. This isn't getting a shot of penicillin, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
So this young man could not survive based on the chemotherapy. Now, of course, it's going to be attributed to the cancer for his death. It's the statistics aren't going to say that he died from the chemotherapy. They're going to say he died from the cancer, and that's going to be unfortunate. And certainly the kid has cancer. And we don't know if not getting chemotherapy, the cancer could just go into remission. Maybe there's a miracle. I don't know. Maybe Jesus or Vishnu or Odin steps in, right? And the kid goes into remission. I'm not the one to determine why these things happen, but we'd certainly say that, cancer sometimes goes into remission. Do I think this is a good choice? Is this a choice that I would make for my family? No. But I'm not going to diminish this family's choice. I'm not going to say that this family is somehow bad, wrong, or stupid because they would make a different choice than I would.
And this is how we lose our freedoms.
Right. This is it. It's people trying, good, well-meaning people who want the very best for you, who step in and say, well, you're just not qualified to make this decision.
You're not making the right decision. So we have to remove certain speech from the internet. We have to remove X. We have to remove Y. And this is where it starts. It gets really personal.
Right. And in this case, it's removing a family's right to determine how their child is treated. And treated medically. I'm not saying that they're making the right decision. But all of America was shocked and upset last year when Great Britain determined that a young man could not go to Italy to seek treatment there because, the NHS was the right. They'd done everything they wanted to do. Right. And then they determined that, no, you can't go someplace else and seek medical treatment because that might make us look bad, or whatever the reason was that they determined that was the case. So in that case, the government determined that a young person needed to die because, well, I don't know, reasons. I don't even understand. I'm shocked and appalled at that one.
Government did not agree with the reason. Or with the action that parents wish to take with their child.
In this case, I would hope that forcing the child into chemotherapy is... I would hope that chemotherapy is the right decision. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
But I believe forcing a family to make a medical decision that I wouldn't make is a greater evil than... this family making what I would consider to be a bad decision. I could be wrong, and that's their decision.
Yeah.
I think that human freedom is more important than human life, honestly.
I agree completely. And in this case, where they're talking about some of the treatments, there are a lot of people that do swear by these types of things.
Which one, the chemotherapy or the alternative treatments?
Alternative treatments, and those include
medical marijuana is listed here.
Yeah, cannabidiol or CBD, which is you can't throw a rock without hitting somebody selling CBD now. Fresh foods, alkaline
somehow
water.
Sunflower seed oil isn't considered to be some kind of cure-all, but marijuana seed oil, now that stuff will cure all your problems, inflammation, whatever.
Absolutely.
Canola oil, no, that stuff's going to kill you. You deep fry your things in that, but CBD, whatever.
So I am a CBD fan.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I've taken it. It didn't do anything for me. Maybe I didn't take it right. I don't care.
Right.
It doesn't particularly matter to me. In the long run of it all, this is a situation that really hinges on a family's decision to right to make a decision.
Right.
And when you're talking about a young person, they don't have the ability to make a good decision. If I asked my 11-year-old to make a medical decision, it's going to be based on how good does it taste, how much is it going to hurt,
Right.
That kind of thing. He's not going to want to do any of these things.
Of course not. And this is a 3-year-old.
And so even less so.
Absolutely.
The number 855-450-3733. Now you want to tell me I'm wrong. 855-450-FREE. Please be prepared to explain to me why I'm wrong. 855-450-3733. Here on Free Talk Live. Thanks.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's a live Saturday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free is in freedom, and you are welcome to call in and talk about whatever is on your mind here this live Saturday evening. However, we are talking about a story that I've got here from ABC. It's coming out of Hillsborough County, Florida, and I don't want you to draw any conclusions from that, Chris. Now, I'm from Manatee County, Florida, and I'm right there next door to Hillsborough, and we in Florida we have I know that it's always Florida man,
right?
But in Florida we believe that these stories come out of certain locations, little vortexes of weirdness.
Yeah, I've got that feeling from a few people from Florida.
Now, Hillsborough County isn't one of those vortexes of weirdness that I would say, but it's sitting right next door to Polk County. And perhaps some of the weirdness is rubbing off. I don't know exactly. Good. God bless all the folks down there in Polk County, all my Lakeland listeners. Love you. The listeners, the parents of a child at the center of a story that's grabbed the nation's attention no longer have a say over whether he will receive chemotherapy. The decision came down late Wednesday afternoon this week after a full day of testimony. The state had 2 doctors make their case as to why they think Noah needs chemotherapy right away. Noah's parents had the support and testimony of a family that believes chemotherapy is dangerous and nearly killed their daughter. The family will be able to treat Noah with other remedies, but he will have to undergo the chemotherapy. The judge said that after 28 days of chemotherapy, they will determine if the boy still has cancer, and that the family can use treatments including medical marijuana to help ease his symptoms. It must be cleared by his doctors, and they will have an opportunity to switch a doctor to a different doctor. He's already considered to be on day 15 of the treatment. I presume that's the chemotherapy treatment because he's had 2 rounds of chemo, so he's essentially almost halfway done. The story has been in headlines since last Monday when the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office told media outlets his parents failed to bring Noah McAdams to a medically necessary hospital procedure and refused to follow up with life-saving medical care. They did not provide specifics, but sent out an alert that labeled Noah as missing and endangered. They found the family Monday in Kentucky. State brought Noah back to Johns Hopkins All Children's Outpatient Facility to continue that care, and that still hasn't happened because the state needed a judge to approve a motion to move forward with the chemotherapy. The first motion was tabled last Wednesday, but a judge today ruled in favor of a second motion that would allow doctors at Johns Hopkins All Children's to give Noah his next round of chemo. His parents, Taylor Bland Ball and Joshua McAdams, told ABC Action News he wasn't in any danger when they took him to Kentucky. We just want him to be healthy, happy, and with his family, and that's going to give him the absolute best care, Bland Ball said. They made it seem like we were trying to run away. We were trying to seek no treatment whatsoever, and that's completely not the case. The family says that their son had leukemia, although they didn't give us any proof. They said that he's in remission and doing well. They said that they were taking him to Kentucky for a second opinion. We're not trying to run from the case, and there's nothing that we're trying to hide. We're just trying to seek the best option for our son. We basically just feel like it's our rights as parents. Our rights as parents are being stomped all over. But doctors who treat cancer like this say that because the leukemia isn't showing up, that doesn't mean he's cured. So, yeah, you've got this situation here, and it happens pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And a good portion of America must believe that the best thing to do is to stop parents with whom they disagree.
Yes.
Now, I think I might disagree with these people's choices, right? If a doctor says chemotherapy needs to continue, then we're probably going to continue the chemotherapy. Not because I just believe everything that a doctor says.
Right.
But because, well, I think he's young, he's resilient, he's probably going to make it. Let's go ahead and give it the best shot, and let's give modern medicine its best option.
I'm going to give the doctor's degrees some weight. I don't know that much about medicine.
Sure.
And I don't always trust that amazing source, which is WebMD and every other site on the internet, to make medical decisions for me. I have to. In this case, I would have to put my trust in someone else who knows much more than I do. And, I understand the desire to do things that are less invasive. And comparing, rounds of chemotherapy to taking some CBD oil and eating good fresh foods, that all sounds really good.
Yeah.
But as a parent, that's what this comes down to.
Vegetarians die too.
They do. They do. And it should be one of those things that I hope they make the right decision, but I don't want to tell them they can't.
Right.
I can't.
I'm not rooting against the parents here. I just believe it's their right. And yes, I do believe it's a parent's right to make a decision for a 3-year-old. I understand they can't make their own decision, but I don't think that the government or doctors through the government. I don't think, because this ultimately comes down to either the parents have the right to step in, or you can take a gun and you can make other people's kids do what you want them to do.
Yes.
Those are your choices.
Yes, and that's it.
That's what it is here.
That's all it comes down to.
When you use government is a euphemism that we used for armed people willing to kill you if you don't do what they say.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be mean. I think that the people who work for the government realize that ultimately that's what they do. I don't think they're hiding from that. I don't think they're ashamed of it or anything like that. That's just it, ultimately.
It is.
And in this case, I think that the government should step back and say, hey, look, we were going to write you people a sternly worded letter that says that you really should take your kid back there and have him treated. But if you don't, it's your right as a parent, and the consequences are yours.
Yeah, and it's interesting how people's point of view on this is going to change. Nobody's going to tell me how to raise my kids. No government's going to tell me how to raise my kids
until
a case like this comes up, and then it's like, well,
right.
they should throw these parents in jail if they don't let the kid get chemo.
Right. If you support to me, supporting the government stepping in and forcing this kid to get treatment is the same as supporting the British government refusing to give treatment to that kid last year. It's all the same thing because it's an implementation of government force. And when you say that it's okay for the government to step in and tell other people how they have to live their lives and how they have to receive medical treatment, then you're saying it's okay for the government to step in and tell you. This is... Ultimately, this is what everybody's begging for. All the burners out there, the Bernie Sanders folks, and the Democrats and everybody who wants medical to be paid for. You want people who are ultimately not responsible. So what another term for that is irresponsible, right? People who are irresponsible for their actions or irresponsible you want them in charge of your medical decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, that's stupid. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. You can use our Discord lines if you want to sound a little better. That's available to you. You go to discord.freetalklive.com. There's an app there. You can download it. Put it up on your phone, and you'll sound great. Free Talk Live.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
It's obvious the government expects people to pay taxes, whether or not they have a law.
They are a band of marauders. They are a violent band of thugs, and in my opinion, they're a group of strangers. I mean, if I all of a sudden wrote up an invoice for you, Robert, and send it to your house saying, you owe Free Talk Live $5,000 this year, or if you don't pay us, we're going to send some people after you to punch your face in. Would you cut me a check? I mean, because that's essentially what they're doing. That's essentially what the IRS does. They write a bunch of strangers, people they don't know, an invoice, and they include a bunch of obscure instructions that you're supposed to understand. And then at the very bottom it says, if you don't follow these instructions to the T, we are going to charge you with a criminal offense and throw you in the clink. This is a threat. And I don't take kindly to threats. I don't know about you.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN. Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
Thank you for joining me this evening, Chris. My normal co-host, Ian, is he's traipsing about the world. He's in Tokyo right now at the Bitcoin.com offices and trying to liaison with them. My intention was to be there too, but sadly the government of Japan decided I was not fit for entry and kicked me out. But if you want to check out Bitcoin.com's website, they are a great source for everything that is related to cryptocurrencies. If you need news on cryptocurrency, go to news.bitcoin.com. If you need to get a wallet, that's an application that allows you to hold Bitcoin, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and several other cryptocurrencies. You can go to the Bitcoin.com website, and they've got a wallet there. They allow you to buy. They allow you to, they even give you some free stuff. They can show you where you can spend your Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. You just go to Bitcoin.com for the latest news and engage with the community. They've got a forum over there, Bitcoin.com. Let's go to Drew, calling in from Virginia. Drew, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
So I just noticed that in the 90s, there was a lot of fear of litigation in the healthcare field. I don't have actual statistics or anything, but just a lot of the chatter among the nurses and among some of the other healthcare staff. There's a lot of fear of litigation. So if we take that 25 years into the future, it led to a mindset of we got to do all that we can do. We got to give every possible intervention, every possible medication, every possible treatment. So this is a whole other generation that was raised in the litigation-soaked 90s. So I mean.
Okay. I don't know if I'm a child of the 70s or child of the 80s. I'm not entirely sure. I was born in 1971. And
youngster,
I remember. I know you've got to be in the 60s. I see from all that gray hair I see over there, Chris.
Father time here.
But I remember stories like this from my childhood too. And my mother's no libertarian, mind you. She keeps a good eye on Fox News. I will admit. But she, I guess probably inculcated me with the very first of these notions, and she just felt that it was a family's right. I remember her talking about, and I wouldn't know if it was the Christian Scientists or the Scientologists or anything like that, but it was just some sect or another that didn't believe in using doctors in the same way that, the rest of us did or whatever. And she's like, well, they should be able to do it. So I think this was going on even before that. I will agree with you that litigiousness probably did rise in the 90s, and perhaps more of this occurs, and it exacerbates the problem. I'm not going to disagree with your premise entirely, but I just want to say that it did go on before that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Go ahead.
I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not making a judgment call. I think that a family has the right to make their own decisions. I mean, that's it's not up to a stranger, like he said. I'm just saying not the right or wrong of it.
Yep,
I'm
just
saying,
the litigiousness is creating
the cause and effect. And I say the 90s just because I'm in my 40s, and so that's when I started observing it, and that's when I got my license.
Yeah.
And so also I've noticed too, like the general mindset of the average RN, registered nurse, is I'm making a sweeping generalization, but that the average RN probably that I know of will say that the average patient is on several, there's at least one or two meds they don't need to be on.
Are you an
general,
RN, Drew?
Right? Yes, sir, I am, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your service.
Oh, okay. Thank you for your service.
Well, I just talk on the radio. I'm not saving anybody's life over here, Drew. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Hey, and those folks that are out there working hard. I mean, I think of RNs. My grandmother was one. I know the kind of work that they do, and I know that it's thankless and difficult. They're running the LPNs and all that stuff too. They're kind of that mid-level, and everybody in the medical field. Thanks for the work that you're doing. Let's go to Bob calling in from Indy. Bob, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thanks, you guys. Hey, I just wanted to share a fun fact I heard, and it's not my opinion; it's a fact.
Okay.
The third leading cause of death is medical mistakes. Number
I've heard
one,
that.
heart disease, and number two is cancer. Number three is medical errors and medical mistakes.
Yep, I've heard that legally prescribed drugs from a doctor kill far more people in America than drug overdoses also every year.
Yes, it's a fun fact.
Yeah, it's fun.
Ain't nothing funny about it. It's a fun fact.
Fun till you're dead.
And when you go into a hospital, you're more likely to come out of there in worse shape than you are when you went in. Either you come out dead or with some other disease or problem. It's not some sterile environment.
Well,
thanks for listening.
Thanks for the call, Bob. Appreciate it.
I'm paranoid as hell when I go into a hospital room.
Keep your hands washed, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, no doubt.
I mean, I've got the bottle of Purell in my pocket. It's like every 5 seconds I'm squeezing a bit into my hands and trying to sanitize myself. I get that.
If I need medical attention, I'm certainly going to head off to the hospital. That's not my I'm not one of those sorts that is, but I understand there's been plenty of friends of mine walk out of that place with MRSA. That stuff will kill you too. Let's go to Alan calling in from Bloomington, Delaware. Alan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate your last comment, and that you really must be in charge of your own not necessarily diagnosis, but when you receive your diagnosis, you must be in charge of your own prognosis of treatment modality.
You're absolutely right, Alan. I mean, this is the most empowering thing. Gosh darn it, I wish I'd have said this. I mean, the most empowering thing that's been said on the air tonight is what Alan's saying here is, look, all these experts that are giving you advice and opinions and, expert opinions.
Right.
It's still up to you. And that's true in your education. That's true everywhere in the world, because an authority figure is always ready to tell you what to do, but it's your life, and the consequences to whatever they say then fall upon you.
Right.
Because they don't take responsibility for those things. They just don't do it.
Now, let me share some facts with you if you'll give me the time. Number one, according to the Mayo Clinic, initial diagnoses were only confirmed in 12% of cases.
Gosh.
By a second opinion. To say it another way, 7 out of 8 times the initial diagnosis was wrong.
Yeah. That's pretty those are pretty miserable numbers.
Well, just think about that.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty eye-opening in itself. So it would almost always recommend at least a second opinion before one proceeds any further.
I'm just thinking about the medical procedures I've had in my life.
Right.
And none of them did I get a second opinion. None of them, right? Like I've got, some eye doctors shooting a needle in my eye. I'm pretty sure there's a lesion there because he said there was, right? But maybe not.
Well, like I say, it always is in your best interest to obtain a second opinion, given the statistical rate of the initial diagnosis only being right 12% of the time.
Have you done this very often, Alan, yourself?
One in 8 times.
Have you?
No, I'm fairly aware of a lot of the literature now. Fact number 2.
Okay.
Chemotherapy, the 5-year mortality rate or survivability rate for chemotherapy is 2.1%.
So is that referencing the chemo or the cancer?
That is referencing people who take chemotherapy as their treatment option. 2.1% of them will be alive in 5 years.
Wow.
Okay,
that's such a bad number. I'd recommend checking it on the internet, but it's certainly.
Well, let me recommend, instead of checking it on the internet, check your proof sources with places where there are editors and fact checkers, such as either publications like The Lancet, the Journal of the American Medical Association, the New England Journal of Medicine.
Those are the big ones.
Widespread publications like Scientific American, which will repeat those scientific studies from the published material, all of which must be peer-reviewed before they are published.
And I'm seeing similar numbers from NIH, National Institute of Health, to what he's saying.
Alan, thanks for the call.
Appreciate it.
All right.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-506-6740. 800-506-6740. That's 800-506-6740.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, TOOT.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalk.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
The number is 855-450-3733. We're talking about this family down in Florida. And I guess they didn't want to get their kid chemotherapy. And just talking about the different aspects of that. Some guy called in recently. And Chris, you found some corroboration with this evidence about cytotoxic
chemotherapy, or poisonous to the cell. I assume that is. I'm applying my own definition. But the
right.
5-year survivability in adults at about 2.1%.
Gosh, that's crazy. It seems like, I know at least one person that I can think of off the top of my head that survived chemotherapy. I mean, they're 1 out of 50?
1 out of 50. That's how I would dumb it down. And
God, that seems so
it basically says, if you have chemo, now I kind of understand.
Maybe there's more than one chemo.
I'm sure there is, but it does kind of make me wonder why so many people are interested in pursuing alternatives to it.
My dad went through a round of chemo and then refused the second round. He said he'd rather be dead than do that.
I've heard people do that.
He was also, a smoker not every day of my life, but darn close to every day of my life.
Right.
And, he wasn't going to live much longer than that anyway. And there was, his prognosis wasn't good.
Quality of life.
LibertyStickers.com. If you want to spread the ideas of liberty or just find some incredibly pithy and bombastic, witty, downright, the sort of statements that get people all upset.
Bombastic.
Yeah, I'd use that term, and I didn't want to use it again.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my fault. Liberty-oriented messages, you can find them at LibertyStickers.com. It's LibertyStickers.com. Somebody out there screaming just the right word at the radio right now.
They are.
Just trying to help.
Almost hear it.
My helpful listeners. Let's go to Troy calling in from Saskatchewan. Troy, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey. I wish I could, disagree with you guys to make it more exciting radio.
You needn't.
Yell and scream on the other side of the issue, but I do agree, that the family has the right to decide. Like you're absolutely right. Like the other side of the argument would be the state has the rights, and then in which case the state could make you have whatever like crazy treatment that they wanted you to take. I got a question. How old's the kid in this story?
3 years old.
Oh, okay. So the direction I wanted to go with it, if possible, I'll just ask the question. What age does a
majority occur?
What age does a
It's a really great question.
Adult make his own decision.
Because if it's a 12-year-old kid who, for whatever reason, wants the chemotherapy and the parents don't want them to get the chemotherapy, you're probably going to find me siding with the kid at that point. Because I think that at some point in your life, and I don't know when that is, and I really believe it's different for everybody, and I think it's different in different areas too, but at some point in your life, you become responsible for your own medical treatment. I don't think my son at 11 years old is at that point. I just don't think he's far-sighted enough. But I wouldn't say that all 11-year-olds are the same as my kid, just mine.
Right. That's how we tend to think of these things.
And then again, as a parent, I'm probably the least qualified to determine when my son is going to be old enough to make that determination.
But this is where the can of worms gets opened up for me. I also believe that vaccines happen to provide some useful benefits.
I do too.
Okay, so now are we?
Here we go. This is, and I want to just give a little bit of a personal experience.
Sure.
So there's you brought up vaccines, which dovetails right into this conversation.
Yeah, perfectly.
And also homeschooling. So I have two I've raised 2 kids with my wife, and now they are 19 and 17. One's almost turning 19. And so we homeschooled them until they were in grade 9, and we also they have all their vaccinations, but we did delay them some. And I think there's my opinion as a parent, I thought there was more dangerous vaccines, and I avoided some of those and got them the ones, measles, mumps, rubella, like the really ones that seemed to be logical to do. But I did delay them a few years until they're strong. But
one of the reasons I think that they give kids all the vaccines that they do in the hospital is because they're like, I'm not sure we're going to see this kid again until they come back with some communicable disease. So they just hit them with all of them at once.
Yeah, but when they're babies, they're so. But here's the twist. Here's the twist. So we homeschool them and we delay their vaccines, but give them some of their vaccines. But then about the age of 12, they're like, oh, well, why don't we have our? And they started asking questions and stuff, and it's like, okay, and they as soon as they decided on it, like, I didn't resist. I'm like, yo, you want to get all your vaccines? Yep, go for it. As soon as they, they're out and about in society, and this, there's some peer pressure there to have the vaccines, and then for schooling, they just decided they wanted to go to school. I'm like, yeah, go to school, sure. So they started high school, and they had a perfectly good time in high school. They
right. What you were supposed to be doing when they were homeschooling was you were supposed to be empowering them around their education, and I applaud you for when they then took some power around their education for allowing them to take it. They're the ones responsible, as one of the last callers, Alan, had previously said. You're responsible for your medical care ultimately. Well, you're also ultimately responsible for your education, and it was both girls. Troy, is that right?
Girl and boy.
Okay, yeah. Your kids are responsible for their education, and they took responsibility, and I applaud you and them.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome, and I learn a lot from them. But so that was maybe around 12. Like, I'm not sure, like, that they were questioning and deciding that they wanted to go to high school and stuff. So, yeah, where is that line? Where I guess it's maybe different with every person. Like, I forget.
I hate to interrupt here. I'm the government, and the age is 13 years and 7 months.
Right.
That's exactly
right. You'd see a rated R movie on your own at 17, but you can see it with a parent at 12. And
right.
You can drive with a parent at 15. You can drive on your own at 16. Like just all this mishmash. You can.
It's all arbitrary.
Right. On your when you're 17 years old, if you have sex with an adult, it's some kind of molestation. If you're 18, well, just go do a pornographic film.
Right.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Troy.
Those are tough things to deal with, and I don't know. And on the vaccines thing, I look at the number of vaccines kids take today, and I'm glad I don't have to make these decisions right now.
It's not easy. I wouldn't claim it is, and I think every family needs to make their own decisions.
Agreed.
As far as this goes. Let's go to Larry calling in from Indy. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live. Larry.
Hello.
There we go. Got him.
Hey, look, I come on every week and tell us how all the things that are being done to us are legally being done by law, because you can have life, liberty, and property taken away by the due process of the law, and the laws are made up by the people that we elect and send to Washington, good or bad. I mean, the state has custody of our kids from the time they are born, and they can make a law to tell you to do exactly what they want you to do with your child. So you really don't have any say-so in the matter. So
I think you're absolutely right.
You're talking about freedom and so forth.
Right.
There's no such thing. And if you did have it, we wouldn't know how to protect it anyway.
Well,
but
I don't know
anyway,
about that. I will say, however, that it's very insightful, Larry. The truth is...
I was doing a protest today, right?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I was downtown on the Monument Circle, and they're destroying that because they want to be cheap. Now, that's the symbol of the state of Indiana. And I have to say that the police officers that were down there were really polite and really nice to me and everything. Of course, I've been knowing most of them for years, but they were really nice and placated me or whatever and let me protest and do whatever I wanted to do. Of course, I only had a sign, but I also had the sign on the other side that said, would you worship the devil to keep your iPhone? And I say everybody was in that line was looking, and I think I put something on their mind, the way that people cherish their iPhones and smartphones so much. And it's just something for people to think about. That's what I try to do when I do my protest. And the kids love my costume and everything.
What do you get a costume of?
I'm dressed up. Okay, I've got my paper hat, of course. You can see that on if you Google Larry Vaughn Indianapolis.
Larry Vaughn Indianapolis.
And it's a paper hat, and it's my slave shirt, and my.
You got an outfit that calls yourself a slave?
That's right.
Everyone knows even good people fall on hard times. Your credit cards get maxed out, and you get behind on your taxes. Unfortunately, the IRS is not as understanding, and they won't stop until they collect. They have the power to take your paycheck, freeze your bank accounts. Even your home or business could be at risk. It's simply not worth it to take on the IRS by yourself. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. When you call, be sure to ask about the Fresh Start Initiative. It's a special IRS debt assistance program that could save you thousands, even tens of thousands if you qualify. Optima will immediately provide you with a team of professionals who will fight to protect you from the IRS, ensuring you get the best possible outcome. The Better Business Bureau has awarded them an A+ rating, and you will too. So put the hard times behind you and call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-890-0144. 800-890-0144. 800-890-0144.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading around $1,284. Silver at $14.74. And Bitcoin is trading around $6,145. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the European Union will defend the Iran nuclear accord despite Tehran's decision to backtrack on its commitments in response to U.S. sanctions. But European powers expect it to collapse without a deal to sell Iranian oil to China or India. The anti-media reports that Britain, France, and Germany, which signed the 2015 deal along with the United States, China, and Russia, are determined to show they can compensate for last year's U.S. withdrawal from the accord, protect trade, and still prevent Tehran from developing a nuclear bomb. But with Iran's economy dependent on crude exports that are traded in U.S. dollars, a promised European trade channel to bypass American sanctions has proved complicated, is not yet operational, and may never be able to handle oil sales. The Iran Accord, one of the West's biggest foreign policy achievements until U.S. President Donald Trump pulled out in May of 2018, lifted punishing United Nations sanctions on Iran in return for Iranian compliance with the deal. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices, with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Around the globe, farmers are fighting an uphill battle against Monsanto. Though some people are keenly aware of the many struggles modern farmers face, the plight will soon be highlighted in the upcoming film Percy. The movie is based on the true story of Percy Schmeiser and will feature actors Christopher Walken and Christina Ricci. The Mind Unleashed reports that Schmeiser, a canola farmer from Saskatchewan, Canada, was sued by the agriculture giant Monsanto over patent infringement in 1998. According to Deadline, Walken will play Percy, and Ricci will depict anti-GMO activist Rebecca Solkow. Spoiler alert, Monsanto successfully sued Schmeiser for patent violations after the company's GMO canola was found growing on his farm without a license. To this day, Schmeiser maintains that the seeds accidentally blew onto his property. In 2004, the case made its way to the Supreme Court of Canada, where judges ruled 5-4 in favor of Monsanto. According to a new study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, smoking the milky psychoactive secretion of the Colorado river toad could provide a fast-acting and extremely potent alternative for managing depression. The Mind Unleashed cites a IFL Science report, which says the North American toad excretes a whitish substance that contains a compound, which is a variation of DMT. The researchers conducted a series of psychiatric tests to examine the impact of smoking the secretion on 42 participants. The authors determined that the average depression ratings decreased by 18% within 1 day of inhaling the substance. Furthermore, anxiety was reduced by 39% and stress by 27%. 4 weeks after the initial trial, the team conducted a follow-up analysis. They found that depression ratings had declined 68% below baseline levels. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
NASA's recent discovery of water on Mercury has led to speculation among scientists that the planet could potentially sustain an intergalactic space prison housing the universe's worst criminals. Scientists believe that organic compounds found on the planet's surface could be useful for creating an off-world space Australia, where strength is the only law. However, they caution it is too early to say whether or not fights among the space jail's prisoners would be broadcast here on Earth for the entertainment of wealthy gamblers. But NASA's lead researchers do say that Mercury's ability to support human life raises important questions about who the prison guards would be.
Perhaps the guards themselves would be space mercenaries, or maybe we'd just use robots.
The robots would have guns for hands.
Well, obviously.
Critics inside NASA caution against funneling too many resources into the Mercury project when it would be so much cooler to build a prison on the moon ruled by clones of the prisoners themselves. Researchers encourage the public to read their findings, which have been released in the form of a graphic novel titled The Mercury Cipher.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Saturday edition. Mark with you.
And Chris.
We've got announcements. I'm going to read them so that I don't mess it up because Ian is listening in Tokyo, half a world away. The wonders of the internet, right? Like, this totally undoable 20 years ago. Well, somewhere around there. FM 93.5 AM 1150 WNDB in Daytona Beach, on live on Saturday nights, carrying all 3 hours. I used to live in Deltona, which is right next door to Daytona Beach.
Nice.
Yeah. WRHI FM 100.1 and AM 1340 in Rock Hill, South Carolina, taking 2 hours on Saturdays here on delay. So thanks for those who are listening a little later. And the voice of the Pine Belt, News Radio 98.1 WMXI. I love the FM talkers.
Right.
That's in Laurel, Missouri. I'm taking all 3 Saturday night hours, and they're taking them delayed. So thanks to everybody. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, something that we've been waiting for so long here on Free Talk Live.
Mm-hmm.
This is an announcement that we've been waiting to make on Free Talk Live since we started in November of 2002.
Jeez.
Now, I'm not sure we ever really imagined that it was possible in November 2002 and, 3 losers who had nothing better to do on a Sunday night than do a radio program for free on a local FM. We didn't even get a free pizza out of the deal. Nothing. We're just in there. My fiance and I had broken up a few weeks before that. I had time, whatever. My coworker, he's like, hey, you want to do a show? Sounds good. So we did the show. That night in November of 2002, we did our first show. Now, I don't know how many years later is this? 18, 17 years later, 200 radio stations.
Nice.
Yeah. First time we can say that. 200 stations. Now, Free Talk Live has always been vigilant at keeping the best books we can on our stations. So if one drops off, our number goes down by 1. We could absolutely have 199 stations by tomorrow. We have no idea.
Right.
But today, at this moment in time, 200 radio stations, and I couldn't be any happier. It's really great. So I think it's awesome. And by the way, our Discord room, if you go to discord.freetalklive.com, you get the app there. Man, it's just scrolling by. People are congratulating us. It's a big deal. And I should, thanks to all those brand new affiliates that just came on with us. It's so awesome that these new stations they're welcome. And your listeners, please give us just a little bit of time here on the show just to understand what we're about, because we aren't like your average conservative or liberal station. Or show, excuse me. We are a bit different. We here on Free Talk Live, first, we believe in free speech. We believe that you have the right to speak your mind. And here on Free Talk Live, we're going to give you an opportunity to do that. Now, obviously, you can't get on and just start giving some kind of filibustering seminar or anything like that. But, you're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk to you. Secondly, we believe in human freedom. We believe in the rights of man to make their own decisions in this world. And ultimately, that means that in many cases we're standing against some things that are considered time-honored and sacred cows.
Right.
But we try to be as consistent as we can here on Free Talk Live. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to Ian, who is the guy that has truly made all of this stuff happen. He's the affiliate relations guy, the center of our affiliate relations here on Free Talk Live. He makes calls. There's no other talk show host in America, or at least not one of his stature, right? Free Talk Live is considered the 27th talk show in the nation. I think it's Ian and I are named 27th most important talk show hosts or something is like the terminology.
Yep.
But you're not finding guys in the top 25, top 50 making telephone calls and calling stations day in and day out. They may ring one up here or there, and that's awesome that they're doing it. I mean, I support that greatly. But Ian has broken the mold. There's nobody else out there like him. I do ad sales. I'm not sure that there's talk show hosts that do that either. But we run this business together. This organization, we run it together.
And you guys you bust your butts. I mean, I've seen this from the outside for the few years that I've been involved. And I enjoyed the show for many years before that. And it's refreshing to see people that are putting in the hard work day after day, month after month, year after year. And it's good to see it rewarded. Congratulations, Mark.
Enough, thank you. That's enough back patting. All right, we're now going to descend into talk radio hell.
Oh, we do that.
Yeah, we're going to do that. So there's no way to avoid this topic. It is right now sweeping the country. There are states, as I understand it, several of them, I certainly have heard of Georgia, that are passing laws that say that abortions are now going to begin occurring on the abortions can no longer occur after the heartbeat. So 6 weeks, which surprises me. 6 weeks doesn't seem like enough time to determine whether or not you were going. Like, if you wanted somebody to have to be able to make the decision as to whether or not to have an abortion, and I'm pretty sure that plenty of people don't want them to have that choice.
Right.
But if you want them to have it, 6 weeks doesn't seem like enough to really be able to make that decision. Like, you don't know that you're pregnant in that amount of time. Because
oftentimes they have no idea.
You've got 4 weeks, then a missed period, and then 2 weeks after a missed period, basically. And I'm sure there are many ladies that can attest that sometimes the menstrual cycle is delayed a little longer. So you're really, by the time you really some women determine that they're pregnant, the opportunity for an abortion has passed.
Right.
Now, please go ahead and read the news before I give any kind of opinion here.
That's all right. This story comes to us from the Associated Press. More heartbeat abortion bans advancing in the South and Midwest. If a new Mississippi law survives a court challenge, it will be nearly impossible for most pregnant women to get an abortion there or potentially in neighboring Louisiana or Alabama or Georgia.
And I think that traveling now for an abortion is going to be somehow outlawed, at least in Georgia.
That's a possibility. The Louisiana legislature is halfway towards passing a law, like the ones enacted in Mississippi and Georgia, that will ban abortions after the fetal heartbeat is detected about 6 weeks into a pregnancy and before many women know they're pregnant. Alabama is on the cusp of approving an even more restrictive bill. State governments are on course to virtually eliminate abortion access in large chunks of the Deep South and Midwest. Ohio and Kentucky have also passed heartbeat laws. Missouri's Republican-controlled legislature is considering one. The hope is that a more conservative U.S. Supreme Court will approve, spelling the end of constitutional right to abortion. I'd like to take issue with that, spelling the end of a constitutional right to abortion. That's not really how this works, Associated Press.
Well, the Supreme Court determines what's constitutional and what's not.
They do, but they don't declare what rights are. To me, rights are things that are part of the human condition. They are rights that belong to us regardless of whether there is a government or not.
They declare which rights the government's going to pay attention to.
Right, and maybe how the government shall infringe upon them.
Right, and it actually doesn't say in the Constitution that the Supreme Court is there to interpret the Constitution or to interpret laws as being constitutional or anything like that. It gives it appellate jurisdiction.
Right.
Which functionally, I believe, is the same thing. But it is interesting that it was not worded in that fashion.
They didn't know. They wanted the courts to come up with. I don't even know if they wanted the courts. They wanted the legislature to have a say in this. But along comes Marbury v. Madison, and the Supreme Court case decided that the Supreme Court should decide these questions.
Yeah, so I've got to say I have a very nuanced position on the abortion topic, and I know we're going to get lots of people's opinion on this one. Bring it up, but all these Republicans have the opportunity to cut taxes and cut government intervention in people's lives, and what do? They get right in there on the abortion topic.
Absolutely.
Instead of doing what, frankly, I as a Republican would have liked to have seen them done.
Mm-hmm.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733, 855-450, free as in Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
Porcupine Real Estate.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
Freedom Fest. This is the largest gathering of liberty-oriented people in the world. Freedom Fest's theme this year is the Wild West. Was it a time of liberty and opportunity or lawlessness and violence? Penn Jillette's going to be there, as is Lenore Skenazy, Candace Owens, John Mackey, Kevin O'Leary and Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank, Stephen Moore, now of the Federal Reserve, Grover Norquist, who's, I think it's American Taxpayers Union. I don't know if I have that name right exactly, but Grover Norquist I'd call the greatest liberty activist in America.
Big time.
Guy gets a lot done. Libertarians, conservatives, liberals, open-minded people getting together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. They do have some great debates there. I've really enjoyed them. freedomfest.com/FTL. You go there now, get your tickets, use coupon code FTL50 for a $50 discount. freedomfest.com/FTL. All right, you're not convinced. You're like, oh, July 17th to the 20th, I'll just wait or whatever. Well, go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you can get the 5 best speeches from last year. You can see Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz, Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, John Mackey, all of them for free. And then you can determine whether you want to get your tickets and go July 17th through the 20th out in Las Vegas to see Freedom Fest with us here on Free Talk Live, because we're going to be there. freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Is there anything you want to say quickly about these laws before I go to the phones, Chris?
No, let's take some calls.
All right, so basically states are passing new laws that restrict abortion more severely and stuff.
And I think that as time goes on, as medical technology improves, this bar will be pushed further by conservatives.
Meaning?
In other words, well, we were able to, 5 years ago, we were able to detect heart rate, heartbeats at 6 weeks, and now we can do it at 3.
Whatever.
Therefore, yeah. And
I see. So the determination of a heartbeat may push back the date sooner.
I suspect the pro-lifers' goal is to get it to the point where even the morning after drug is no longer viable.
I shudder to think that the Supreme Court is being people in the Supreme Court are being appointed almost entirely on this issue, but it seems like something that is almost always the first question that people want to know about a Supreme Court justice.
It's the litmus test.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Let's go to Louis calling in from South Dakota. Louis, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello. How are you guys?
All's well. What's on your mind?
Good.
Well, here's the thing. In South Dakota here, I've got a few friends that are they're doctors themselves. I personally am not a doctor.
Okay.
We got to chat the other night.
All right.
Basically, they said that it's possible with some of these very late-term abortions for the doctor to get the baby out and then show the baby a quick glance to the family, and the baby will do a quick look, a quick, assessment of the child, and then they get to decide whether or not to keep the child or not.
You think that's happening?
And that's what I'm told.
Yeah, I just don't believe it.
I've never been in the room with it.
It sounds like amazing kind of,
Here's-
this sounds like scare tactics to me. I mean, I can hardly imagine this happens. That somebody looks at their baby and decides, kill it, doctor.
No, well, what I'm being told is they'll see, does it have a good amount of hair? Are the eyebrows in the right place? Things like that, and then they'll make the decision afterwards.
I can't believe it.
After making that assessment, that quick assessment.
I'm completely incredulous, I guess. I can't believe that somebody would look at their child and determine that.
I'd be very surprised if abortion clinics would perform that. You know what I mean?
And you know what? Here's what I'd say, Louis. Before we go on, Louis, I want to make this statement. If somebody wishes to execute their child in this fashion, as you're referring to, if they wish to, then they probably should, because those people shouldn't be raising a kid. I don't want them to breed.
I agree, because if you're basing it just off of hair, and this is something I've struggled with, is that hair can come and go. It comes on the top, it goes away.
How's it going, Chris?
You know what I'm saying? So don't base it on that. All I'm saying is, and the main point is, don't base it on the hair.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at, and it's just one of those things. I think that I really don't believe that people that seek an abortion, which I don't support abortion. I don't. That's me.
No, I believe that. I believe life starts when the cell splits, right? Like I'm a 4-celled zygote. Yep, I believe it's a human life.
Right.
However, I have what I said, a nuanced opinion, and by nuanced I mean highly cynical.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is, ladies and gentlemen, you answer this question for yourself out there in Radio Land. You just answer. Who's more likely to get an abortion, a rich person or a poor person? Who's more likely to get an abortion? A person with an above average intelligence or a person with below average intelligence? Who's more likely to get an abortion? A person who supports the state as its current size, its current invasiveness, or perhaps an increase in that size or invasiveness, this person I would call a statist.
Right.
So is the person more likely to be a statist or more likely to be somebody who believes in human freedom? And I believe, from the research that I have done, it's a little bit easier to figure out income. It gets a little more difficult to figure out intelligence, and even more difficult to determine whether or not somebody's a statist. But I believe in almost all circumstances, all of those situations are the person's more likely to be a statist, they're more likely to be poor, and they're more likely to be below average intelligence. And they're certainly of the opinion. Hold on, just one second. I want the last thing, Louis. And they're certainly they don't want the kid, right? They're not killing the kid because they want it,
right?
So now you're talking about an unwanted child who's going to grow up poor, stupid, and believing the government's a good solution to things.
And sometimes with hair and without it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm kind of focusing on.
Thank you for the call, Louis. Louis really obsessed about that hair thing.
Something about that. And by the way, I have a full head of hair, mostly.
Well, I mean,
it may be a little thinning. It's just rather gray.
Hair covers your head.
Oh man.
And I used to think that this was a big deal. Look, I held my son in my arms that first moment that he was born. I mean, obviously my wife got him first, but it wasn't too long thereafter.
Yeah.
Within the first, let's call it a few minutes, I got to touch and hold my son. And, this was, by the way, the most taxing night of my life. Watching my wife in this condition of giving birth, I had never been so terrified and disempowered and upset and having to show a strong face. I know it was hard for her, but for me, all I could hyperventilating.
Yeah,
this was so important to me. This is such an important moment. And yes, he's the most valuable thing, if you're going to call a human being a thing, the most valuable thing in my life. Yes, I consider this to be important. But people are going to make decisions, and I'm not going to support those decisions. Who's the victim here?
Right.
The victim is the person who's doing the act.
Yeah. It's also the baby.
Well, yeah. Once they're gone, right?
That's it. There's no turning back.
By the way, heaven would be so full of aborted children and, like the sort of medically non-aborted ones that are just, miscarried.
Right.
Yeah, they'd be stuck full of them. 9 out of 10 people in heaven. Free Talk Live.
Has your body ever gone low blood sugar, feeling weak, shaky, knowing you better eat something fast? We all know high blood sugar can lead to many metabolic problems. At GCNteam.com, we have a healthy blood sugar pack, focusing on the structure and function of stable blood sugar. Find us at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Nothing feels worse than unstable blood sugar. Call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If it's between 1900 and 2200 hours.
Very good, Mark.
In the Eastern time zone. By the way, you just get me started about daylight savings times and time zones and these kind of things. And I rattle off. I hate all the stuff. All the ways that time is controlled by our government. But nonetheless, you can give us a call 7 days a week. You don't have to be listening live. For those many stations that are added tonight, raising our total to 200 radio stations across the fruited plain and beyond the fruited plain. We're on in Guam, for goodness sake. Still all in America, mind you. You can hear us outside the United States at freetalklive.com. But inside the United States, you can hear us in a variety of different locations on 200 radio stations. You can find those, by the way, to going to affiliates.freetalklive.com. That's affiliates.freetalklive.com. And we believe that to be the most up-to-date affiliate list in the industry. Tell you about Edge Wallet. What is a wallet? Well, I'm not talking about a folding leather billfold. I'm talking about an application for your smartphone. And this wallet is used to contain cryptocurrencies. I believe Edge Wallet to be the best wallet out there. You can get it for the iOS or Android, so just about everybody out there with any smartphone. I think it's 80+% of Americans have a smartphone, and probably 95% of those smartphones run on iOS or Android. So the vast majority of you listening to me can get this application. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold pretty much any cryptocurrency that you're thinking of. There are some that you can't, but the vast majority of them. The vast majority of the major ones. It's user-controlled, meaning you control your money. They don't have control of your money. You can make it so that they can send you a hint for your password, or you can make it so they don't have a hint for your password. They have support for Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, the ERC20 tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and many more. See, I probably named some you didn't know. It's got a veteran team that's been building since 2014, and they've been working to secure your freedom. The Edge wallet, the one that I use, edge.app. Give it a shot. It's edge.app. One of the things I love about it, Chris, is that you don't need to have some 12 or 24 word mnemonic that you memorize or write down, put in some place that could get burned up or whatever,
right,
and lose all your currency. It's a username and password. And, some people want something more secure than that, and that's certainly available. But I find this to be extraordinarily easy. Edge.app. Let's go to the phones. We've got Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I was told that I heard on the NPR news that the Cubans are down in Venezuela involved also.
The Cubans are involved in Venezuela.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, just as the Russians are down there, hundreds and hundreds of Russians are there, and so are the Cubans helping out.
Yeah, Venezuela and Cuba and Russia. These are, they've been kind of in cahoots for some time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. I mean, Venezuela. They're both South American countries, and Hugo Chavez.
Cuba is not a South American country. It's not even south of the equator. Cuba's like 90 miles from Havana's like 90 miles from Key West.
Well, what I'm saying is they're South American. They have the same culture and the language.
I don't know if the culture's the same, but they do speak Spanish. Yes. So, I guess cultures historically is defined as language and religion, and they probably do share that. The Cuban government probably says that everybody's atheist, although they're not.
Right.
And I think they look the other way over Catholicism generally. So maybe you're right. Maybe there's an argument for culture, Sarah.
According to the Venezuelans and the Cuban diplomat, tell AP that no Cuban troops are in Venezuela.
Cuban troops?
No.
Were you talking about troops?
Well, I don't know how in particular how they were involved, but they are down there assisting because they've always been allies. They're both communist countries.
Okay.
For sure.
So what do you think about this? What conclusions do you draw in your mind when you hear that the Cubans are in Venezuela?
Well, obviously they're down there.
Okay.
I mean, it's like they've always been allies for communists always declared that they were communists, and then Venezuela declared that they're communists. So they have always been allies. They've always been having relations.
Well, they've declared that they're socialist. One thing I think they do have in common is both countries are suffering from trade embargoes and things like that, spearheaded by the U.S.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's the cause why they have so much economic problems.
Oh no, it's not.
Because of the
reason they have economics problems is because people want other people's stuff, and they don't understand that socialism doesn't work. That's the reason they have economic problems. The fact that the United States won't trade with them, they could start all kinds of factories. They had some of the world's largest oil reserves. They can get pretty much anything they want to get done.
It's huge.
People are losing weight. I'm not going to say starving in Venezuela, but people are generally losing weight they've eaten the zoo animals, okay? And this isn't because of U.S. sanctions. They can grow food if they had a system, if they had an economic system that wouldn't just steal the fruits of their labor, Sarah. This is the probable, almost certain future of instituting state-run what we call state capitalism, or whatever. When the state claims, when it socializes different industries, it tends to run them poorly because, well, why should they run them well?
Democratic socialism. That'll work.
Now, if you want to hear about socialism that works, Sarah, take a look at things like co-ops and employee-owned businesses, things like that. That stuff will work because those people, they have consequences to their actions, and they have, they're responsible for what happens. Whereas when the government, working for the government means you never have to say you're sorry.
Well, the thing is, I have a different take on that. But I am a communist, so my stance is always because of the sanctions. And then they blame the communist system, like you're blaming the state-run, the state-run system. They're poor workers because they have no accountability.
I will agree with you insofar as this, Sarah. I wish the United States government didn't put sanctions on Cuba and Venezuela and Russia and places like that. But because that way they couldn't blame the sanctions, that we'd finally get to see that it's the this terrible socioeconomic organizational system that's generally called socialism, that's the problem.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point. Nobody could see that the system is failing with all of this sanctions imposed.
Agreed.
They just see the ship from Indonesia delivering something to North Korea, and they put a stop to it, and that's the cause of reason why they're starving.
Well, North Korea is probably not really socialist. It's probably just just an autocracy. I think it's probably the best way to describe that.
But you're right. Nobody could see that communist countries that have free education, all free health care, everybody would be taken care of because everybody shares.
Can I
never see that because they all the capitalist countries, they choke them to death.
We just hear all these horrible things. Sarah, I got to ask you, would you rather Venezuela be a communist country or a Nazi country? Socialist or Nazi? Which do you think would turn out better?
Well, a socialist communist country, what they are now, I think that would turn out
So
better.
everybody talks about the Holocaust, and that was a tragedy. I'm not a denier by any means, but I think 7-8 million Jews were killed by...
I think it was 6, but all right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, under Hitler.
God knows I wouldn't want to guess that low.
Chairman Mao wiped out 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, over 100 million.
Stalin, jeez.
Yeah. It doesn't even compare. Socialism
eggs,
kills. I don't want to hear it.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I'm sorry. It drives me
nothing you can do
nuts
about that stuff.
I know.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. 855-450, free as in freedom. Some Bernie fan's going to call in.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Jeunesse has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to GCNlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to GCNlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
It's a live Saturday edition, and you are welcome to call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. We are talking about this situation across the South where states are tightening the restrictions on abortions. And you know, I kind of try to avoid this topic. I really do. I prefer not to make myself seem cynical and loathing of human life.
Right.
But, well, I guess you have to make that determination for yourself. But, yeah, and my position has pivoted more than one time on this topic. I'll go on about it here. First, I want to thank the amplifiers. Go to amp.freetalklive.com if you want to support Free Talk Live, which allows you to call in and voice your opinion on national airwaves and 200 radio stations across the country. And I thank the amplifiers, including Kylon Eckert, who's a silver amplifier. Say thank you, Kylon. Thank you, amplifiers. amp.freetalklive.com. AMP as in amplify. We only use it to advertise, market, and promote, thus the acronym amp.freetalklive.com. Any more on this, Chris, that you've got to read?
A couple quotes for pro-life folks. These are huge victories, says Sue Liebel, state director of the Susan B. Anthony List, an anti-abortion advocacy group, and I think they're indicative of the momentum and excitement and the hope that's happening with the changes in the Supreme Court and having such a pro-life president. Unquote.
Why not make the people that want to force people who don't want to have kids pay for those kids? I mean, everybody wants somebody to pay for these kids, right? Like, here I am paying to send other people's kids to school. I'm paying to feed other people's kids that can't, they have not managed to put together the life skills to earn enough money to feed their family. Perhaps they're too busy spending their money on cigarettes and booze. I don't know.
What about incentives? What about the incentive that if I have more children, I'll get a bigger government check?
It's certainly that.
Well, yeah, that's a big thing. I mean,
it's a bad idea, but yeah,
it's what happens, and what we have is a failure of incentives or unforeseen circumstances to these ideas that are designed to be good and warm and fuzzy or generate voters, depending on your cynicism.
I wish that people wanted the children that they create. I wish people would take responsibility for their actions.
Right.
I wish we lived in a world like that. But I can tell you as a young man, had I been confronted with the situation of a pregnancy, say in high school or something like that, I certainly was prepared to, pony up the money for an abortion if that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
As when I held my young son in my arms, my opinions changed. I suddenly changed my mind on that topic.
Yep.
But then again, over time, I have come to the conclusion that the world isn't all like me. The world isn't all as responsible as I am. The world, people are in different places in their lives and they have different feelings when it comes to this particular topic.
There's a lot of different aspects to this, and I believe, I hope the choice is, I'm pro-choice if the choice, I hope, is going to be life. But when I object to problems that the government has created, like that misincentive to have more kids and get more money, those are separate issues. It doesn't mean that has nothing to do with abortion. That has a problem with government.
Let's go to the phones. Got Angel calling in from Indy to listen to WIBC. Angel, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, so I live in Alabama. I'm a truck driver. I'm driving through.
Thank you
Indy
for your
today,
service, Angel. Thank you for all the truck drivers out there that are keeping America moving. Everything you're getting, ladies and gentlemen, at the store that you're buying, brought there by a trucker.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Do you have children, Angel?
I do. I have 5,
Oh,
and
my.
I'm taking care of all 5 of my kids.
Has
I help
anybody
take
ever
care
made
of
a
my
mother trucker joke with you?
Oh yeah.
I
That
imagine they
gets
have.
old, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I've always taken care of my kids. I was adopted when I was little because
Me too.
my mama ran out on me.
Ah.
So, but I'm glad she didn't abort me. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad
Yeah.
I had the chance to be a better mother than my biological mother was. My grandmother, who adopted me, was awesome. She was like the best mother on earth. I'm totally pro-life. There's no way I can't even conceive the idea of having an abortion. No ifs, ands, or buts, you know? I do agree that women need to quit, keep their legs closed and quit, getting pregnant if they don't want the kids.
What do you think about birth control? Do you think they could maybe be more responsible in the use of that? As men could too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Like I've told my boys. Like I've got 2 boys. My 2 youngest ones are boys. I've told them if you don't want no kids, you better put a raincoat on it because you're going to end up raising a baby. Because I will not let there be an abortion go on in my family because we don't work like that. So, and they just know, but they're in very stable relationships and they're both fixing to get married. So,
how old are these? I imagine you said they're youngest. I guess I imagined other things. How old are these young boys?
I've got an 18-year-old and that is getting married at the end of next year, and I've got a 21-year-old that's getting married in the summer of next year.
Awesome, Angel. Thank you so much for this call. It's folks like Angel. I mean, like this lady is the heart of America.
Right.
Hardworking lady, raised her kids right. Love them. Your calls, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450, free as in freedom. Chris, go on.
I'm sorry, I was on the wrong page. For abortion rights supporters, meanwhile, the trend is ominous, says Diane Durzes, owner of Mississippi's sole abortion clinic, the Jackson Women's Health Organization. Quote, I think it's certainly more dire than it's ever been. They smell blood, and that's why they are doing this. Already, Mississippi mandates a 24-hour wait between an in-person consultation and seeing a doctor. That means that women must make at least 2 trips to the clinic, often traveling long distances.
Right. I mean, if there's one clinic in the state of Mississippi, then you're talking about, you've just raised the cost. I don't know what a hotel room costs necessarily in Jackson, but I'm willing to bet it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 or $80.
Sure.
You have the cheapest of them.
Yeah.
I've traveled around, and it's difficult to find a hotel room that costs less than $60. As much as it pains my cheap little heart to pay it, it's just difficult to find them.
Alabama lawmakers postponed until next week a vote on a proposal that would make performing nearly all abortions a felony. That measure has passed the state house, and the Senate suspended debate Thursday amid a heated dispute over whether exemptions for rape and incest should be stripped from the bill.
Yeah, this was an interesting one where they apparently had some kind of situation where they, maybe might have been out of order, might not. I don't know. There's some, Robert's Rules of Order argument on whether the stripping of this provision of rape and incest, seems like the easiest one. And usually abortion, the pro-lifers will determine that, we'll give you rape and incest. But in this case, on this bill, not so much.
Yeah, and
it's not going to make it. It's not going to cut muster with courts, though.
I don't think so either. But it is interesting how far it's like it's impossible for there to be a compromise on this issue.
Yeah, well, that's what it all comes down to is that neither side is going to be happy in this. And not that I'm, whatever. I don't think compromises are necessarily great. Let's go to Joe real quick here in Indy. Joe, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I think you're seeing these restrictive abortion laws in these different states that you're talking about. But I think what's happening is it's an answer to, or it's a response to, the partial birth abortion laws that states like New York are passing. I think New York is doing it just to get a rise out of conservative people, and they're like, oh, you like this? You guys, this is what you want. You like Trump? Okay, well, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I think what you're seeing is Georgia and kind of Bible Belt states are saying, yeah, well, we're going to respond this way.
Right.
Yeah, it might very well be the case. I don't know. I've heard of these provisions. I haven't delved into it deeply. It's not an issue that affects me very much. But I've heard of these partial birth abortion bills, and yeah, it may very well be a salvo in return. Likely, the federal courts won't deal with it. But yeah, Joe, thanks for that insight. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Have you heard the warning from the dead doctors don't lie guy? I'm talking about Dr. Joel Wallach. He says if you have a 4-inch medical chart, if you take prescription drugs for high cholesterol or high blood pressure, arthritis, joint pains, or other health issues, the medical profession is failing you. They're using you for an ATM machine. That's what he says. He has a free lecture revealing what pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know. There's been groundbreaking research and discoveries on how to effectively treat or eliminate over 900 different diseases naturally. And it's all in his free lecture called Deadly Recipe. You want it free? Call him toll free at 855-79-YOUNG. You ready? 855-79-YOUNG. Dr. Joel Wallach, the dead doctors don't lie guy, says there's no reason why we shouldn't live to be at least 100 and have a great time getting there.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading around $1,284. Silver at $14.74. And Bitcoin is trading around $6,145. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the European Union will defend the Iran nuclear accord despite Tehran's decision to backtrack on its commitments in response to U.S. sanctions. But European powers expect it to collapse without a deal to sell Iranian oil to China or India. The anti-media reports that Britain, France, and Germany, which signed the 2015 deal along with the United States, China, and Russia, are determined to show they can compensate for last year's U.S. withdrawal from the accord, protect trade, and still prevent Tehran from developing a nuclear bomb. But with Iran's economy dependent on crude exports that are traded in U.S. dollars, a promised European trade channel to bypass American sanctions has proved complicated, is not yet operational, and may never be able to handle oil sales. The Iran Accord, one of the West's biggest foreign policy achievements until U.S. President Donald Trump pulled out in May of 2018, lifted punishing United Nations sanctions on Iran in return for Iranian compliance with the deal. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices, with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at myBraveBotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Around the globe, farmers are fighting an uphill battle against Monsanto. Though some people are keenly aware of the many struggles modern farmers face, the plight will soon be highlighted in the upcoming film Percy. The movie is based on the true story of Percy Schmeiser and will feature actors Christopher Walken and Christina Ricci. The Mind Unleashed reports that Schmeiser, a canola farmer from Saskatchewan, Canada, was sued by the agriculture giant Monsanto over patent infringement in 1998. According to Deadline, Walken will play Percy, and Ricci will depict anti-GMO activist Rebecca Solkow. Spoiler alert, Monsanto successfully sued Schmeiser for patent violations after the company's GMO canola was found growing on his farm without a license. To this day, Schmeiser maintains that the seeds accidentally blew onto his property. In 2004, the case made its way to the Supreme Court of Canada, where judges ruled 5-4 in favor of Monsanto. According to a new study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, smoking the milky psychoactive secretion of the Colorado river toad could provide a fast-acting and extremely potent alternative for managing depression. The Mind Unleashed cites a IFL Science report, which says the North American toad excretes a whitish substance that contains a compound, which is a variation of DMT. The researchers conducted a series of psychiatric tests to examine the impact of smoking the secretion on 42 participants. The authors determined that the average depression ratings decreased by 18% within 1 day of inhaling the substance. Furthermore, anxiety was reduced by 39% and stress by 27%. 4 weeks after the initial trial, the team conducted a follow-up analysis. They found that depression ratings had declined 68% below baseline levels. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Today's fitness trackers can tell how far you're running, but tomorrow's can tell you why you're running. The new Nike Run Logic Plus pinpoints the desperate psychological demons at the root of your exercise routine. Tech Trends reporter Aaron Vaughn has more.
It's a problem all runners face. You run and you run and you run, but it's never enough. No matter how many miles you put in, that gnawing ache at your soul never goes away. Now Nike's engineers have found a way for runners to use that existential pain to push themselves even farther. Users keep the device on their wrist at all times. It not only records running times and distances, it also analyzes all of the user's social interactions and emotional patterns. It then creates a unique, detailed profile that dredges the inspiring well of inner turmoil inside every runner. Early users say they notice a big impact on their workout.
I started marathoning when I was 28. I thought it was time to get in shape, but then once I realized I was actually running from my meaningless job in ad sales, I started running a lot more, like all the time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It is the live Saturday night edition of Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves. That's why we do it. That's what we do, and this is why we do it. We want you to have the ability to call in and talk about what you want. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. And Ian, our normal Saturday night host, who's sitting here in the first chair, he is off in Tokyo right now. But we are celebrating. He's given me the opportunity to announce. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know when exactly. He said, go ahead and announce it. We are now on 200 radio stations across the U.S. It's been a long time coming.
203.
203. Is that what
That's the official count.
Affiliates.freetalklive.com website says? Well, we'll probably stay above it because it'd be hard to lose 3 affiliates in a given time period before the way we add and subtract affiliates.
Sure.
Will probably not dip below. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get on the air and I could say something completely outrageous and maybe I drop a few. I don't know. You never know for sure. We have talked about this evening families' rights to make decisions over medical procedures for their kids. We've also talked about, I guess, another medical procedure that is a mother getting an abortion a family medical procedure?
In some circles, certainly.
Kind of a sick way.
Yep.
Talked about abortion, the way it's laws are changing in the South, and I guess they were changing in the North. One caller made the point. And you've got a story about, I guess, some bust of some airline employees or something?
I've got a story about keeping America safe.
Okay.
Because that's always important. This story comes to us from Trending in Travel. 9 Dallas-Fort Worth airport employees admit to drug conspiracy laws. So thank goodness we've got our FBI on task and Homeland Security. 9 airline employees.
So when the FBI does some investigation, sometimes, they're really uncovering some great stuff. I'm not saying that the men and women of the Federal Bureau of Investigations aren't necessarily are always wrong every time, but there are times when it kind of seems like they're almost the ones that are doing all the crime and they're just finding somebody to take the fall for it, where they come up with a plan. They come up with the munitions or whatever, the drugs in this case. They come up with everything, and then they find somebody to take a fall for it. What's going on here?
I'm not saying that this may be one of those situations. Let's just get into it. 9 airline employees at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport were arrested about a year ago. This is just coming out for plotting to smuggle drugs out of the airport.
Okay.
Since then, they've admitted to be willing to smuggle anything on board a commercial airline for money, including drugs, weapons, and plastic explosives.
That's pretty scary.
It is. The 9 employees included a baggage scanner, baggage handler, and other employees who could monitor bags being placed on and off Spirit Airlines and Envoy Air aircrafts. A 10th employee involved in the ring is a fugitive. These folks, and this is a quote, these folks sold their positions, betrayed the public trust, abused their positions at the airport to make $1, and put everyone at risk, unquote. Yeah. Assistant U.S. Attorney George Leal said during a detention hearing.
I'm not sure anybody who works like in these situations really thinks that they have the government's, the public's trust. I mean, are we paying people for public trust? Because in a lot of cases, these are not particularly well-compensated employees.
Well, just by their positions, Mark. Come on. This is undoubtedly, and here's a direct quote from the U.S. attorney. quote, they put the safety of the public in danger, unquote. So there. The employees, 9 employees, believe they were smuggling methamphetamine into commercial airlines for Italian organized crime located in other states.
Is there still Italian organized crime? Or is this some just trope that it's sort of whipped up? So first off, if you're talking about Italian organized crime, people believe that there's some kind of code that goes beneath it, right?
Sure,
I mean,
Cosa Nostra.
Right. I mean, ultimately, these people are, or at least this legend, I'm not even sure they exist anymore, but they're just a competitive government, ultimately, right? A government is an organization that claims a monopoly privilege on the use of violence over a given landmass.
There you go.
What is the functional difference between a gang... specifically, somebody like the Cosa Nostra or whatever, who has a sort of a moral underpinning to it.
Sure.
And a government, when the Cosa Nostra says, hey, this is our block here, and you can't do business here unless you pay us. You know what I mean? What's the difference between taxes and protection money?
Protection money is generally more affordable.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
There you go. The 9 employees. In actuality, the 9 employees.
And by the way, so they first they kind of threw in the terminology, C4 plastic explosives here.
Absolutely.
To make sure that I was good and scared, but they said that they were arrested for methamphetamines.
It was part of this drug smuggling ring, but they might be willing to smuggle plastic explosives too.
Somebody in here, probably the stoolie, right? He says, hey, we'd have done anything for $1.
Right.
Just make sure I get a little less time than everybody else. At this point, I'm not interested in what they would have done. I'm interested in what they did do. And what they did do, apparently, is to distribute fake methamphetamines, right?
Well, and all 9 employees were part of an FBI undercover operation. The methamphetamine was fake. During the detention hearing, Ray Harrison, lead FBI agent in the case, said, quote, on each transaction, the undercovers, who were Italian and portrayed themselves as Italian organized crime figures, pulled out the kilos, showed it to them, counted it, told them it was crystal meth, and told them if they were tampered with, they would not be paid the second half payment once it landed in their destination.
Now,
so in a nutshell, there was never any meth. There was never any plastic explosive.
It's interesting that the laws are written in such a fashion that you can get convicted of trafficking some drugs when you did not traffic drugs.
There were no drugs.
Right, there were no drugs. But on the other hand, I think it's also interesting and a bit of an insult to Italian Americans all over the nation that they decided to do this as Italian mobsters. My wife is Italian, half Italian, and her father is 100% Italian. And no. Well, and I don't know what the specifics are. Anyway, these people have an Italian last name.
Right.
And the jokes that these people make at mealtime on like holidays, I think that they're intended to specifically unnerve a waspy kid like me.
Right.
But the cement shoes and taking care of the problem and this kind of thing.
Well, this goes on. At one point, Nelson Pablone, 47, the quote, ringleader, even considered having a fellow airline worker involved in the smuggling killed because he thought the man was working with law enforcement. Quote, he had actually reached out to his brother down in San Antonio to act as a hitman, unquote, Harrison, the FBI agent, said. Now, keep in mind, there was no smuggling. There was nothing. So what? If this guy was actually talking to law enforcement, maybe he would have uncovered the fact that they weren't doing anything wrong.
Well, law enforcement is not above throwing in some fake stuff here and then convicting people for trafficking it or whatever.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. It's not just drug smuggling and things like this, and this story is absolutely absurd.
So what do you think? Do you think that the FBI is wasting our time with this?
They're wasting our time and God knows how much money, how much taxpayer money. It's no different than when you hear that the FBI has solved another terrorist plot It's happened on U.S. soil, and we hear this with some regularity, at least once a year. There's some
Presumably
story.
the terrorists were willing to harm people. These folks here at this, none of them are accused of doing anything that any more harm than somebody who works at a local drugstore that's dishing out prescribed medication that came from a doctor. This is just unprescribed medication, essentially. Yeah, it's bathtub gin, but the reason it's bathtub gin is because the government doesn't allow people to buy this stuff legally. The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, here on Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at GetCell411.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Yeah!
Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition. Come on and call in. The number's 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE as in freedom. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
By the way, you can also use our Discord lines at discord.freetalklive.com. There you will find an app that you can download on your phone, and you can use it to call in Free Talk Live. And you sound a lot better. It's discord.freetalklive.com. And we are talking about, quick, before we go on with the story, I want to tell you about Fork Fest. This is the festival that we're having at Rogers Campground, June 13th through the 18th. So it's coming right up. It's if you want to camp with other liberty-minded individuals in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire, you can, come with your RV or, you can have a tent or a motel room, whatever you want to do. It's decentralized. Everybody's doing what they want. No one's being charged for anything. No one is in charge of anything. People are giving speeches. People are, holding seminars. There's one guy who's doing man camp where you can learn how to forge. Like with a hammer and beat on metal and stuff. Another guy's doing drone things. People are serving food. It's forkfest.party. You want to come and find out more? Since third year, we go up there and do Free Talk Live. Forkfest.party. And it's a party had by all. Go on, Chris. There's more about this story where the FBI is pretending to be the Italian mafia, huh? And, hey, you want to run a little meth, make a little money, huh? Well, what you'll do is you'll give me a promotion at the FBI, huh? It looks good when I bust people who otherwise would not have done anything.
Because they did do nothing. They did not smuggle meth, even though that's what the charges are over, and they were basically told...
They probably would have smuggled meth. They did not.
But they did not. They were never given meth to smuggle, yet
yes.
This is the remarkable break that the FBI has made, and 9 people are going to go to jail most likely for this.
And I'm not saying that these people don't need some kind of stern talking to, a finger wagging, as it were. But, they obviously abused their positions and shouldn't have been doing this and all that stuff. But... are we really served as the public where young men, it appears, are, tossed into a situation, lured by money? What a surprise.
Right.
Some people can be lured by money into doing things that, although they don't have a victim, might be considered illegal.
So here's a hypothetical. Let's say that you had, God forbid, you did some government contract and you knew that security was an utmost importance, and your livelihood somehow would rely on being reliable. I just can picture this as an internal thing where you would say, you know what, it's almost like a secret shopper. Go around, ask our employees, see if you can trick one of them into like smuggling some meth on a plane.
Yeah.
And then if they say yes, then HR needs to talk to them, and we may need to get involved. We may need to look at how they got hired. What did we miss in the background check? Questions like this. But no, the FBI makes literally a federal case out of it and threatens to throw these guys in jail. The airline workers agreed to plead guilty to drug conspiracy charges in a Dallas federal court. The ringleader, Nelson Pablone, 47.
Hey, Nelson Pablone.
Faces up to 40 years in sentencing. So 40 years in sentencing for no crime. As for the safety of DFW Airport, spokeswoman Cynthia Vega says
everybody's perfectly fine here.
Says that some changes have been made. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones. Eric's calling in from Texas. Listen on, tune in. Eric, you're on Free Talk Live. Eric.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm calling in from Houston. How are you guys?
All's well. What's on your mind?
Good.
Good. Well, I was just calling because I'm actually in favor of the wall that Trump wants to build.
Why is that?
And I live here in Texas. It just depends on, I guess, which perspective you're looking at it from. But
well, your perspective. What's your big reason? Why do you want a wall?
Well, I think Bill Gates said it best about in the next 15 years, we're going to see more innovation than we've seen in the last 250 years.
Will it be inside the U.S.?
As far as AI, what's that?
Will it be inside the U.S. or outside?
Inside the U.S.,
okay.
most likely with AI.
Take your word for
different things. And and workers are going to be fired, and no longer low-skilled workers won't have a job. And if we have a whole bunch of people pouring into our country, how are we going to pay? Where are they going to work? And if there's a welfare system, how are we going to pay?
So you're
for
playing
them?
amateur economist. So you're determining, even though we have the lowest unemployment in my lifetime right now, you're concerned that maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, we won't have as good. But, I mean, these people are also sneaking back across the border in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
Every year people are sneaking both directions. I mean, won't they just leave? If they can't find work?
Can't get a job.
Well, I mean, if Congress would pass a law that there was no incentive, then I think we would agree completely.
Oh,
they
I
have.
agree completely.
Well, I would also go further to say that Congress has passed many laws that make it illegal for them to do all sorts of things. That doesn't change anything.
The problem is the Congress is handing out a bunch of freebies, and then everybody's getting upset that stray cats come by and eat out of the free cat bowl, right?
Right.
Well, what a surprise! I would say this, Eric: the wall isn't going to solve that problem. Whether I agree or disagree with you is immaterial. I've worked for the state of Florida, in some capacity, have some experience with prisons, and I can tell you it isn't walls and fences that keep people in prisons. It's the guard on the other side with the gun. So if a wall or a fence or whatever is put up, within a day, there's going to be holes in it if it's just left unattended. So building a wall isn't going to do anything. You've got to staff. You have to have the staff there to protect the wall. If you have the staff, then you don't need the wall because the staff is already there. So the wall is just a make-work program. It's a boondoggle.
If there's no incentive for them to come, then we don't need a wall.
Well, the incentive, part of the incentive is employment. And there's a demand. I hate to say this, and people hate to hear it, but there's a demand for low-skilled employees to do low-skilled jobs.
Sure.
And if you want proof of that, look at the fact that 60 to 70% of our agriculture is not performed by Americans. It's performed by illegal aliens and legal aliens. Legal, too.
Yeah, I see that a lot here in Texas. I'm not even going to lie. They're at Home Depot, and they want work, and I feel for them, but yet we have homeless people all over the streets of Houston
who don't want to work.
Yeah, but if the homeless people wanted the job, they'd be out there at Home Depot. Like they say they do. But if they wanted, a man is telling the truth by his actions. If homeless people were worth employing, and if they wanted the job, then employers would find ways to get homeless people out there to do it. But, the newspapers and online news outlets, they're full of these stories of people, homeless people, beggars, I don't know what else to call them, that are offered opportunity to do work, and they turn it down because it's too low pay.
Well, that's almost too bad. We should just pick them up, put them in a bus, and say, this is what you're going to work, this is where you're going to stay, and then you can leave, but you got to come back.
Slavery.
How are you going to leave?
That'll work.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Thanks for the call,
Paid.
Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. And you're free to call in and talk live here on the airways. That's what we do. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
And let's go right to the phones, Chris. We've got no housekeeping to take care of here. Just go right to the phones. We've got Tetris calling in on the Discord lines. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening all across the fruited plain, listen to how clear this sounds. This could be you if you called in on the Discord lines at discord.freetalklive.com. It takes a little more work initially, but then after that it's easier. discord.freetalklive.com. Tetris, what's on your mind?
I was wanting to talk about the Loan Shark Prevention Act, which is being proposed by Bernie Sanders and Occasional Cortex, which would basically use the Postal Service as a bank.
Hold on. What's the post office have to do with loan sharks?
So basically, the bill not only caps the interest of payday lenders, but the argument is a lot of lower income communities don't have banks because it's not considered profitable.
All right.
So what they want to do is they want to make it so the Postal Service can give loans in place of banks.
And because
so
the
that
post
way
office
these people have money.
The post office already exists, so
has locations.
It has locations that it could go in and do. And by the way, who doesn't want to wait in those lines, right? I mean, another opportunity to get in more longer lines.
Well, post office lines, those are the best kind at all.
I mean, only to be outdone by the DMV.
True.
And who doesn't love that pen with the chain to the table?
Right. I mean, I'm at a bank. What is it? I'm looking at it right here. TD Bank. And I'm not doing a commercial for it or anything like that, but this bank is open on the weekends. It is open late. It gives away free pens. There's like buckets of pens sitting there. They want you to take their pen. It's no longer are you shamed for not having a pen or anything like that. They just take one with you.
Please.
Here's a sucker, whatever it takes.
Dum-dums.
Yeah. They have their own. They have their own custom suckers. They're purple and green to match their colors.
Yes, they do.
And what's weird to me is the Postal Service loses I think $4 billion a year.
Yeah.
How exactly are they going to, get people that come in, take a loan, and then just never pay it back? How are they going to make money then?
The post office is in an unenviable position in so much as they have this mandate at which the government mandates their pricing, but they also enjoy a monopoly on first-class mail.
Yep.
So, they live in this sort of netherworld as a quasi-governmental organization. People will tell you they're private. They're not. If they were private, then they'd offer banking services or not offer banking services at their whim. Nobody's telling the local grocery store whether or not they can offer banking services.
And also
As a matter of fact,
huge
Walmart-
union shop, too. Yeah,
they are a big union shop. Walmart offers banking services now, and they do it in low-income
I'm a member
communities.
of their bank,
Right.
actually.
I hear good things. I don't know. I'm not a member of their bank. I'm a credit union guy. If I can get a credit union, I'm going to use it. But, it just, this is just the government attempting to pound another square peg into another round hole. I'm not saying that, I don't know. What's Bernie Sanders know about banking? Why is he making these determinations? The post office should be deciding this.
He's been advocating this for decades because apparently, and I'm not too sure on this, but I've heard that the U.S. Postal Service did this for about 60 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then why were they told to stop?
I have no clue.
Right,
Probably
this is
because
the thing,
the
is
government
that
realized they sucked at everything and they would also suck at banking.
I don't have an opinion on the post office running a bank, because the post office should be able to run a bank if it wants to, because the post office should be a private organization that is not subsidized or by the government in so far as their the rents go on their postal buildings. They should not have their prices capped by Congress. They shouldn't have a mandate for their pension funds that is any different than any other organization, which they do. They should just be able to do what they want. To me, what they are, I see them for what they are.
A waste of money.
Well, they're an ad venue, a government subsidized ad venue. They deliver junk mail and occasionally other things. But they are, they're a cheap way, a socialized manner, a government subsidized way for companies to get their paper to you.
I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's all.
And you can't get it to stop. You can't just go to the post office and be like, I don't want any more mail, like Cosmo Kramer did on Seinfeld, because they'll just tell you, no, you had to get your mail.
Well, I did pull it off at one point. I built a house, and I never put a postal box in front of it. If you just rip it out from in front of your house, then they can't deliver mail to you anymore.
I was always told that was against the law, and destroying ripping off the postal box was destroying government property.
Nope. They can't possibly be the case, because how come I can put a new one in?
So actually, the Postal Service maintains postal banking from 1911 to 1967, allowing citizens to open small savings accounts at local post offices. So
now, was that managed by the regional post office or the federal government?
Let's see. This allowed citizens to open small savings bank. Actually, a better approach than partnering with banks, they say. This is coming to us from The Nation. The system was so successful that after World War II, it had a balance of $3 billion, roughly $30 billion in today's dollars.
I don't know if I consider that a lot or a little. I don't even know.
Congress did away with postal banking in the 1960s, but post offices in other countries, including Japan, Germany, China, and South Korea, provide banking services. So again, if the post office wants to provide banking services, then the post office should be able to do that. But I shouldn't be taxed 1 cent to subsidize in any way.
It just makes me nervous because it's basically being done as a way to combat payday lending, which people think is a problem.
Sure.
It's like nobody's telling you to take the loan.
Right, and payday lending needs to be called what it is. It's banking for poor people. If you're taking a payday loan, if you're going and getting your check cashed at a payday place, it's likely that you have probably made some poor decisions when it comes to banking prior to that. And I'm not saying that I consider banks to be delightful organizations. I have been there, ladies and gentlemen. I have bounced checks. I know what it's like. But you got to pay them, and you got to keep your checking account solvent. You don't use your checking account with your debit card. You should have a separate checking account for paying your bills and then an account for running your debit card.
I'm going to be a little more skeptical when I say this is just a blatant attempt to nationalize banks.
Banks are nationalized.
I know that, but this is a forced nationalization of a level of bank customer that doesn't play. They don't play. They don't go through the big banks that are already subsidized. These guys deal with private individuals. Well, they can now get this final portion. Right. My suggestion would be learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and be your own bank.
Right. Instead of what we call a corporatist banking structure where the government, finds some banks too big to fail and bails them out if they have problems, but not the rest of us, just the banks.
Right.
Then we would have a socialist banking system where the government is the bank.
Yes.
I agree.
It's just another attempt to take over another aspect of our lives.
Yeah, they have no business. The government has no business doing this. But the post office is quasi private. It's people tell you it's somewhat private. I say make it totally private, and if they want our open banking services, fine.
I never use the post office to deliver anything because I find that FedEx gets it to my door way faster.
Individuals rarely use the post office, but if you start running a business, like if you were doing an eBay business or something like that, you'd probably find very quickly that it's the post office, because it's subsidized, because it has these mandated rates and that sort of thing. It just gets it there a lot less costly. FedEx and UPS, they may have slower delivery systems, but they just cost more. And people don't want to pay it if they can avoid it. People don't like paying shipping charges. You can have a higher product with free, quote unquote, free shipping, and people will buy that more often. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Tetris.
Yep.
The number's 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. Or you could use the Discord line. Sound great, like Tetris just did there. Just go to discord.freetalklive.com and download the app. It's pretty self-explanatory from there. discord.freetalklive.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's the final segment of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
And Chris.
Check out amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com, where you can support Free Talk Live and our mission, which is to allow people to talk about whatever they want to talk about on the radio and to spread the ideas of liberty far and wide. That's our goal. That's what we do. And, I was just thinking, this is the final segment of the show, and we'll be heading home after this. But I don't feel like I did when I worked in, so many other jobs that I worked in. I've had a whole variety of them in the past. And I was, looking at the clock, ready to go, and all those kinds of things. This job, so awesome. And it's the listeners that have made it so awesome.
Right.
And the reason that we're on 200 radio stations now. Thank you, amplifiers. Thank you, listeners. Thank you for allowing me to do this work since 2002.
Crazy.
I wasn't getting paid to do it since 2002. I probably didn't. I really didn't do this as a job until somewhere around 2008. So that's like a 6-year period where I was doing it as a hobby before that. So I guess I put my time in. Let's go to Joe calling in from Michigan, listening on Global Star Radio. What is that, Joe?
It's a talk radio program that I call in on my phone.
Okay.
And just listen to their stuff.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I'm not familiar with it, but I'm glad they're carrying us.
I got an idea for the post office.
All right.
You know how everybody's always worried about their emails and stuff. They're always being hacked and copied and phishing scams and you name it. Well, the post office ought to set up a division and offer email accounts, under federal protection so that the emails will have all the same federal protections that the mail does, because we all know that U.S. Postal Mail has a ton of federal protections on it. So
yeah, there's something called mail fraud. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but like sending lies through the mail or something.
Yes, you'll go to jail.
They got all kinds of stuff, from what I understand. But anyways, if they started an email service and put it under there's a fancy word, auspices of the mail, so that it would have all these federal protections, charge $10 or $15 a year or some kind of subscription, and then maybe they can become solvent. But the thing is, if it's protected by federal law, then anybody who starts messing with it is going to be messing with the law at the same time. So, they can get themselves in a lot of trouble. And they could probably, and honestly, I heard this idea from the guy that invented the email. He was on a talk show. I was listening to him. He invented it in like 1992 or something like that. He wrote a proposal, sent it to the post office like 15 years ago, and they just said no. Because that was originally it was his idea, but it makes complete sense to me.
Right. You know how sometimes different people invent things and they didn't know that somebody else had already invented them? I've done this a million times.
Yeah.
It's my friend Kathy came up with the exact same idea. It was when after faxes, after the post office lost out on faxing, how, instead of just having the post office provide a fax service, if people needed it, didn't want to buy a fax machine, but they needed to receive a fax. She came up with the same idea for email, and she took it to her bosses, and that's not going to happen.
I don't think it's a terrible idea, honestly, if you can, because it's a governmental agency, and if they offer all these services, basically the spammers might be scared to spam somebody, and then people would want this spam-free site. I don't know if it might be too late at this point, Joe.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just an idea, and plus they might be able to make money off it. The one caller said they're $4 billion annually in debt. Maybe they might be able to become solvent. Who knows?
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind having the protection of that. I would probably pay for it.
Oh, there you go. There's one person. Somebody at the post office is listening. Thank you for the call, Joe.
Thanks, man.
Really appreciate that. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Maple syrup.
That's right. You're making fun of the Japanese government confiscating my maple syrup when I was in Tokyo just recently.
Ohio gozaimasu. I think I heard you misspeak earlier in the beginning of the program. You said something like my normal co-host Ian.
Well, yeah, that's a completely unfair statement, isn't it?
Tongue in cheek.
Yes.
Yes. He's my
May
abnormal
I suggest
co-host.
My regular.
Right.
Of course, then we might be getting into his gastrointestinal health. I guess. So
he used to keep a calendar in the studio where he would write his bowel movements on, like he'd notate them on the calendar. I'm looking at the times written on there, and I'm like, Ian, what are these times here on the calendar? And I knew what they were, because I know what kind of guy he is.
Right.
And he, revealed to me what they were. And
sometimes you hate to be right.
I've still got a picture of this. I took a picture so that I would have this. I don't know from what year it's from, 2008 or something.
So then is he indeed your regular co-host?
He was pretty regular at the time. He tries to eat a salad every other day or something like that, which is good for a young man who's single. I'm impressed. I'd eat fewer salads if my wife wasn't around.
Right.
Thank God for the ladies. Anything else, David?
Really? Yeah, only in New Mexico. So there's a sheriff Judge Sheriff Heath White.
Okay.
If you remember, he was the one that he helped himself to $162,000 worth of taxpayer money.
This happens.
Is this the guy who's going to judge his own case?
How did you get that already ahead of me saying it?
Go ahead, please tell us.
Well, no, you go ahead. I'm interested to find out how you came upon this.
I was just perusing the news.
We
and
do this for a living.
Yeah. The story was that the sheriff who had been found guilty, I guess, of embezzlement through some round robin selection was selected to be the judge of his own case.
Yeah. So he's a judge and a sheriff, which is, that's not a problem.
Nah, no biggie.
Somebody who's both the executive, the chief executive in a county, and a chief judicial officer in a county.
And a criminal.
This is a problem.
Alleged.
You can't do all these things. You can only be one.
Well, this, sir, is New Mexico. We do whatever we want. We do whatever we want out here since we are not part of the United States.
If I come to New Mexico, I'm not bringing any maple syrup because I don't trust you people.
We have our own maple syrup, sir.
Squeeze it out of cactuses?
We have stolen plenty of it from people going through on I-40 and I-25. We take maple syrup at will, sir.
Yes, well, that's the problem with being from a state where your number one exports are tree sap and rocks. That's what we have here in New Hampshire.
Right.
So, obviously, this guy isn't going to be allowed to judge his own trial. I mean, this is a fluke.
This is the same kind of fluke that put me in jail. You guys don't even know why they put me in jail. It was because of a fluke. It was a clerical error. But yes, this is New Mexico, and like I said on your show, the public defender dude said to me he sees this stuff in court from judges, etc. Every single day they mess stuff up here in our wonderful state of New Mexico government. So yeah, they indeed assigned Sheriff Judge Heath White to judge his own criminal case where he was the defendant. And then they discovered their error, and the Attorney General removed the defendant, Sheriff Judge Heath White, from presiding over his own criminal case. So they have remedied that problem. So
amazing. David, thank you for the call.
Thanks
Appreciate
for the call,
it. It's he always finds the best stuff. He's always got these good stories. And I mean, I think of all governments as corrupt.
Right.
But he certainly makes the case that New Mexico's might be a little more corrupt than most.
Yeah, he's shared many a tale, and it's a lot of times it's just surprising. It's like, come on, David, you can't be. And then you research it, and he's
sure
right.
Enough.
He's right. In this case, the Attorney General felt that this may be inappropriate and ordered an investigation into why, just exactly how this happened.
Exemplary morals there in the Attorney General. I appreciate them doing it. Chris, I got to say, I think this is an important and auspicious show where we have reached our 200 station mark. I want to thank all the listeners, all the amplifiers, all the stations out there, everybody who takes us. I'd encourage people who like Free Talk Live to call their stations and ask for more, ask for us live, whatever it might be. We do appreciate people who call in live. Try to be I try as hard as I can to be as fair as I can with every caller. I'm not going to agree with every one of you by any stretch of the imagination. But remember, if you hear us recorded, you hear us on podcast, you hear us delay broadcast on radio stations across America, probably as many of them carry us delayed as they do live, you're always welcome to call in. If it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., that's 1900, 2200 hours Eastern time. I don't know what that is, Zulu. Don't ask me. I can't like add 5 to 19 and then across the
big trouble. A civilian casualty is flattered to have been mistaken for a Hamas leader, and an asexually reproduced sea sponge is worried she's turning into herself. This news summary is best enjoyed in a state of leisurely repose, so sit back, relax, and let the waves of condensed news gently lap at your brain. This is the Onion Week in Review, hoping to foster a lifelong